Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, your superstore, to get whatever you need to make sure the outside of your home or your business is safe by getting rid of all the snow and ice. And they've got salt, sand, and Pelledo, mag, ice pellets and flakes. So many products, and of course, snow blowers, spreaders, and shovels. They're at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125, the phone number. Largest supplier of rock salt with the lowest prices anywhere in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. The website, omnitruevalue.com. So we're going into Super Bowl weekend, and we are heading into that weekend on the warm side relative to the time of year, of course. We managed to get into the 50s yesterday. We're going to see 50s again today. I think we might even see some warm spots make a run for 60, especially on Saturday, if we can keep the clouds out of the way. I think that'll be the one thing that might help hold the temperatures down just a little bit as the next cold front approaches. And you can already see the energy with a low moving across the lakes and the next cold front just kind of getting ready to do its thing. And with respect to the radar, we'll give that a quick look here and see what's going on. There's not a whole lot, especially in the southern part of the United States, but ahead of the cold front, there are some showers. You see them in Indiana and Illinois, back into Missouri. Now, a lot of this, if not all of it, is going to wind up weakening. So I didn't even include the chance that there could be a shower on Saturday when the Arctic front goes by. And here's our surface map this morning at 7 a.m. We're getting into a southwest flow. That's going to help boost those temperatures up as well. And then we've got a pair of cold fronts out to the west. The second one has the real cold air. And we see temperatures that are in the single digits and below zero as we head up into Canada. We've got double digits below zero. In fact, a couple of minus 40s and minus 44s showing up. There's another one. Here's another minus 40. So this is very cold air that's coming southward. February is the month where we sometimes see the coldest air masses come down out of Canada, and that climatologically makes it a little more favorable for snow during the month of February in the Northeast, especially in the bigger cities. Now, here's the situation for Sunday. The system that's setting up is similar to what we had on January 28th and 29th in some respects in the broad sense. It just kind of looks the same in terms of the upper air and what's going on at the surface, but the big difference is where the upper troughs are sharpening is going to sharpen up. It's going to happen further east this time around, and that kind of puts us on the edge of some snow that's mainly going to be produced by the upper air feature and not by the coastal low. WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, has updated their forecast this morning, so they've actually increased the probability. I have the probability of at least 2 on the board. So the lightest green is between 10 and 20%. The next level is 20 to 30, and then the darker greens, you start to get into the 30 to 40% range. So they kind of upped it for central and eastern Long Island and Connecticut, Rhode Island, and you can see there's 70% probabilities or higher in southeast New England, and also a high probability in northwestern Virginia and in eastern West Virginia, in a small area of 40% or higher. But 20 to 30% is not something I would put a whole lot of confidence in. When it's up at around the 40 to 50% range, then I usually think that there's a fairly good chance that you could wind up seeing the amount that's being predicted. Now, this is the probability of at least 4, and they have the 5% in yellow back to about New York City. The light green is 10%. And you can see also that they have a 20 to 30% chance in southeastern New England. It looks like they would probably wind up with a higher chance here that they could see a bit more of snow than everybody else. These are sort of the early numbers from the Weather Service, and you'll probably see them adjusted a little bit in a few places. I would think they would do something in southeastern New England. Right now, it's all a bunch of 1s that you see from Virginia on north and east. This is a light event, and as far as my early call snow forecast, which I put out last night, I'm looking at, I basically drew a line up the Garden State Parkway in New Jersey. You can extend that down into central Delaware. through the eastern part of New York City and then running northeastward through Connecticut, Rhode Island, and into southeastern Mass. I meant a coating to 2 inches. When you deal with the upper air system, that part of it, sometimes the precip can be kind of blotchy, so you can get some places that wind up with a couple of inches, and then you could go a handful of miles away and find a place that gets a couple of flurries. So it's a little bit tough to forecast exactly. And then I have a back edge of a coating to maybe an inch. North and west of this line, there'll probably be some snow showers that whiten the ground. But I'm thinking that it's really going to be more for the coast than anything else. So just a quick look at what's happening with the upper air. And I got the NAM model up because the NAM model has probably got the sharpest or more intense look, quote unquote, relatively speaking, than all the other models. And the main difference is where you see the trough axis here is running through central Pennsylvania when it goes north-south. And as a result, you wind up with a coastal low that develops, and that low is out much further to the east. So your trough is here. If you look closely, there's a little wiggle there. That's kind of where your coastal low is going to be, and the trough hasn't really caught it yet in terms of intensification. So it's going to intensify offshore. The moisture from that is not really going to be a player here. It's really more about the upper trough swinging through. And there's a little trough that's right behind it in the western lakes, and that's really preventing this from becoming more like the storm, say, of January 28th, 29th. So in weather patterns, things rhyme, but they don't always rhyme exactly. And this is one of those cases where it doesn't rhyme exactly. And you can see here on the surface, I could show you any of the models. They all sort of have a different way of playing out the snow. But this is the NAM, and obviously we have no problems through the day tomorrow. When the cold front comes by, we'll be in the 50s to around 60 for highs. But by Sunday morning, we're going to be down in the 20s. This is very cold air coming down. You start to see snow getting generated. And notice it's separate from the moisture with the coastal low that's off the North Carolina coast. And that's the way I think it's going to play out. It's all about the upper trough. We'll just have to be careful because sometimes if the trough is maybe a little sharper and slightly more intense, you could get some blotchy snows that produce several inches in some places. And then again, you wind up moving away a few miles, and those places get far less. Time frame for this would be during the day on Sunday. You'll notice the snow develops. This is at 1 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m., 10, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the evening on Monday. It lasts a little longer for coastal areas east of New York City, Long Island, southernmost Connecticut, southern New England, into the early morning hours before it finally pulls away, because this is the point where the low really starts to organize, and you see it there well offshore. And then we start off next week cold. Monday and Tuesday are going to be cold. We'll start to bounce on Wednesday back into the 40s. We'll be into the 50s on Thursday, and then we're going to get a windswept soaking rain probably next Thursday night and Friday. So that covers the weekend and next week. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. The Joe and Joe show taking today and tomorrow off unless there's a surprise, in which case I'll have to jump on and do solo. Definitely not today. If something happens, I'll pop up tomorrow. But we will be back. Joe and I will be back Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So that'll make that part of your Super Bowl day. Okay, watch the Joe and Joe show in the morning at 11 with your coffee and a little breakfast or brunch, and then get ready for the Super Bowl come Sunday evening. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Hope you win your Super Bowl bets.